Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. This is Starters Orders 7. And today, we are kicking off our new season. And yeah, lack of 3-year-olds is definitely new. But I kind of had to think and play around. And a little bit of testing in the CK, which just kind of confirmed things really for me that we saw towards the end of last season. It's like, we've got some solid horses here. Demolition Damager actually came through quite well at a mile 2. And Much Demure is definitely a horse that, when we look at their record, is pretty consistently good. Especially we take the uh, Triple Crown from New Zealand out, like from Europe, for example. A couple of races that didn't go that well, but a pretty good record overall. Went into the breeding barn, did some bits, but really performed quite well at a mile 1. And so then it was like, well, who do I run a mile 1? Who do I run a mile 2? I'm not exactly sure. But when I looked through it, I found I could pretty much just stick at a mile 1 and get a huge amount of races. Now, we might not run them all, but I do think, in terms of dates, it's only right at the end here for the Champions Cup of Singapore Derby that we get too close to make something work. Really, you want 2 weeks, and this is like a week. So when you're looking at that across the schedule, I think we're okay. We're very tight on the World Cup into the Jebel Hatta. So I think that one's got to go. And that just basically sets up the 3 World Cups. The only time we're stepping out of a mile 1 with Much Demure would be for the World Cup in Dubai. And I don't hate that. And I think these are all good races, not great races, but we do get a nice little test towards the end of the season. We do get to run Much Demure a lot, and we will be able to get as many runs as possible on a high-rated horse with a chance at 140. Like, I think this makes sense. So I was going to leave them in the barn, but I think bringing them out for a mile 1 works okay. On top of that, we did see towards the end of the season Demolition Damager coming in at about a mile 1, mile 2, and so I figured, let's not break up the World Cup races. We'll slip those over to Much Demure. But on mile 2, there's so many good races. And again, I feel there's only a couple of places like the Tennis Show and the Champions Stakes, for example. That's only a week apart. That is going to be too close. Everything else pretty much feels like enough. The Manhattan in between the Gold Cup and Prince of Wales might be a bit tight. And yeah, the couple of small conflicts that I don't know how I want to handle. If I'm honest, I'm probably thinking about it. Probably drop the Manhattan, and then here I don't want to drop the Tennis Show, but the Tennis Show is the one that would make the most sense to drop. I think we get to that point in the season and we see if we're fit to race it or not. Because we do have 2 weeks after it. It all depends kind of how quickly we recover from the Champions Stakes, I think. But I think Demolition Damager can run a mile 2. I think it's a good horse. Again, it's a high rating. It's not super high rating, but 127 isn't a bad place. So how close can we get to 140 if not the full thing? And again, there's enough races there with a bunch of Group 1 wins. We could get 20 Grid 1s on both of these horses, realistically. It'd be a bit tight, but damage I can get there, and I think we'll get close here, maybe. What's this? 3, 6, 9, 12, 17 on much demure if we hit all these. So I do think it's definitely worth running them both and splitting the mile 1, mile 2. Princess, I always wanted to run, and a mile 4 to a mile 7. I do think we're north of a mile 4. I 100% believe that we are, because we're picking up at the end here at the Grand Prix de Paris. So it's kind of a weird one, but I've booked out a mile 4. We got the Saudi turf and the tennis show at 2 miles, and then a bunch of mile 4s, which we probably run with jockey. But I think, again, there's enough races here that we could, I think there's 13 here, so we could get 21 Grade 1 wins. We could make a run of 140, but it's kind of the best schedule I could find for Promise Princess. 2 at 2 mile, 1 at 1.7, everything else at a mile 4. So, who knows? Who knows? And then Tidal Force. I really thought hard and fast about a mile 1 for Tidal Force, and the World Cup races. Honestly, looking at them, looking at some of their races, looking at some of their distances, I don't think there's a ton between Tidal Force and Much Demure. Much Demure does have the extra rating points and is showing stamina for a mile 1. So I think I'm a little more comfortable running her in those. And then Tidal Force can stay at a mile, which I know we're about right. Maybe we want a touch more distance. If we notice that early on, we're still getting that at a mile here, we'll just run with jockey instructions to challenge earlier. And we'll challenge later for the Livermore Classic, which will be a little too much. But again, we do get to run our first Triple Crown then with Tidal Force in New Zealand, which may or may not suit. I don't know. But I think this is a solid enough set of races. I do. And I think there's like 16 of them, if I counted correctly. So I think we could get up to 25 Grade 1 wins if everything came in for Tidal Force. And again, it's another shot. So 127 for Demolition Damage at a mile 2, Tidal Force at a mile. 128, Promise Princess at a mile 4, and 132 at a mile 1, and the Dubai World Cup at a mile 2 for Much Demure. So figured that was the best spread. So agree, disagree, that's up to you. Have your comments, as always, on everything we do. It does mean Swan Dive goes in, only 2 Grade 1 wins. Again, I don't feel it's the best horse. I don't think it's the worst horse. It has a shot at maybe a 140, but I don't feel comfortable that it's found this distance. And to be honest with you, I think it's a mile 3 to a mile 4. I think it'll be okay. I just think Promise Princess probably runs better than Swan Dive. And if I had a lot of races at a mile 6 to 2 miles, instead of just the 3 that we have early on, then I'd probably run Swan Dive at a mile 4 and Princess at a mile 6 to 2 miles. If I had a lot of mile 3s, Swan Dive would probably get those races too. I kind of think that would line up okay. And Pastel Pure is also in here, which again is probably like a mile 1-ish horse. And yeah, it's done okay. I don't love these bars. I don't think there's a ton here, and it's going up against Much Demure at a mile 1. So I prefer Much Demure. So I try to get as many of them runs as I can, but those two are in the breeding barn. We are breeding with dragon to open up with this season. I took a look around, nothing grabbed me. So, like, Tectonic Dune's probably the best option that I saw. So yeah, I figured we'll do dragon this year, and we've got Hague Violetta to go next year if nothing else grabs me. And we also put Sweet King Braze in here because, you know, high cruising burst, extra speed, potential, full finish. You know, enthusiasm isn't super low. That's the lowest bar, really, with adaptability. So I figure could be a good sire. Could be something that we look at moving forward. But for now, breeding barn just seemed to be the right idea. We have pared down our yearlings, of course. So we're all set up there. We got our 2-year-olds. I've booked them in a 5 furlong and a 6 furlong. So Rosa Cara, I'm going to have to name that one. See, if I name a Cara anything, I'm going to think it's from Caracan. It's not from Caracan. So, uh, what can I actually name this that makes sense to me? I guess just Life Quest. That's fine. Pause Union's kind of fine. But, um, let's think. Ha ha. Makes sense to me. Probably won't to anyone else. But yeah, basically it's HR from Hey Grenade, and instead of a quest but an adventure, and then trying to make that work. HAR. Ha. Ha ha. I'm trying to think of another name. Something along those lines. This is where my brain shuts down. Hara. There we go. That's good enough. Life Quest and Hara. So Hara's going at 5. Life Quest at 6. Test out the maidens. No real idea behind it, honestly. Yeah, they're both solid horses. They're both okay. I'm going with the high acceleration at 5 and the slightly less acceleration at 6. I could go both at 5, both at 6. I don't think it really matters. There are some graded races, but I do want to get the maidens out the way, and we can analyze those before we kind of start planning out a pathway for the 2-year-olds. But yeah, that's the whole setup. That's the idea for this season. I say Tidal Force at 1, Much Demure 1-1, Demolition Damage 1-2, Promised Princess at 1-4, Sweet King Braze waiting in the breeding barn for a couple of years, and Pastel Pure and Swan Dive are in the breeding barn. Because I think that makes sense to me. And the only triple chromes that we really are running is going to be the New Zealand early on with Tidal Force. The World Cup trio is going to Much Demure. So agree, disagree, let me know, comment section down below. But we are going to get into this. Sunland Park, Little Maiden, don't know anything. Please win. Okay, we won. Please be 2 to 3 lengths at least. 2 lengths at least. Ooh, it's a little close for comfort. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we kind of ran at the front. A little bit back and then got up at the end. So probably runs the way I wanted to. Distance was ideal. So okay, it looks like at least we are a 6 furlong. Wasn't a huge distance. Okay, I don't mind that. Should be able to fill out that potential this season, which is definitely also a concern. I need a pretty big jump. Maybe not in the maiden, but the first one of the first 2 or 3 races needs to be a big jump. Or everything needs to be a decent jump for Harat to max out the potential this year. I'm hoping 5 furlong suits. Again, just the exact same thing we're looking for in a maiden. Please win. Okay. Ooh. Okay. 2 lengths or more. Yes. Good. Good. That's what we like to see. Comfortably. Maybe a closer. I don't love that. But we have had a couple of good closers lately that are winning me around, but hurrah. Distance was ideal. Okay, we nailed the 2. My logic worked. It normally doesn't, but it did this time. So I feel pretty good about that. 2 maidens, 2 wins. That's a decent jump, That's actually a decent jump on the maiden. Okay, we got a shot of filling both potentials out as well. That could be huge. That could be huge. We need to find a pathway for those 2. I'm not sure how much to push them. A normal grade 2. Oh, there's the systema is kind of just sitting there. I think that's a long trip to New Zealand. That's a big field. We got no idea what kind of horses are there. That could be slightly dangerous. On the flip side, we got a small field close to homes. A little grade 2. It feels kind of right. There's even less at 5. Is that a graded race? I knew the Sistema was coming up. No, so we got claimers there only. It's not an extra ratio for fillies either, I don't think. Ooh. Okay, so we'll come back to Hurrah then. But a grade 2, early February for a 2-year-old is bold. It is bold. I think it's a shot that's worth taking. I think it's a shot that is worth taking. We're going to skip through and we can get our breeding back here. And then open up this triple header. Hong Kong Classic Mile, Hong Kong Classic Cup, and the Hong Kong Gold Cup. Tidal Force, Much Demure, Demolition Damager. Mile 1, Mile 2. Yeah, I mean, it's an early test to see whether or not I've got my selections right and all the pre-booking I've done, if that's going to work or not. So, you kind of need this to work out. A lot riding on this. And it's going to be tough. That's for sure. They're good races. I don't know what the fields are like. I'm pretty sure Florence riding them, so that's good. It is a little nerve-wracking. It is a little nerve-wracking. I think the best thing to do when it is a little nerve-wracking is just to just to jump in. Here we go then. Race number 1. The nervous reaction to save. Always. I want to save again right now. But yeah. For the highest rated, grade 1 French, ungraded French, similar rating, similar form. Ungraded Japanese, domestics are all low rated, unraced. And then we got a 123 grade 1 winner from Canada with decent form. We should win. We should win. Okay. They are parading a little lazy. That's great news for me. Okay. We've had our maidens. Not really anything big. Here is a huge meeting to open up the season, really, with our 4-year-olds running. First, the Hong Kong Classic Mile, Class 1, Grade 1. For 4-year-olds upon the turf at Sha Tin. Tidal Force is the favourite. Probably the best horse. Best form. Blancheroux, definitely the best jockey. Vade Bracken, the main threat in the Yellow Silks, but is a little lazy. We are on the outside. We do get out okay. Bracken, a touch slow out of the gates. And we are going to go just in behind them alongside Chili Orchid and Simon Sigduke. Up to Raikura Peacock, Sarang Wisteria, Katana Deer, and Vade Bracken in those gold silks. On the inside, dropping back now. Betolova Clubs, Archbishop Landing, Model Mistress, and leading is Shared Francesca. We see Tidal Force, though, starting to make their move, and 1.5 from home on the home stretch, driving for the line. Down now then to the final furlong marker. We are by about half a length up on the field. Model Mistress coming in, not getting close. Vade Bracken in the mix for third, but falling back into 5th place there, up to 4th actually by the end of the race. A nice early win, a good run for Tidal Force, and the distance does seem right. Getting to a mile 1, I think, is possible. And I think would be fairly comfortable, but it's nice to see that a mile looks comfortable too. Not a great field, but a good result. And off to the right kind of start that we wanted. Stayed on strongly, so there is that. We hold our 127. We didn't really expect to jump from this one. But yeah, we do look good. I wish we had some more cruising burst. And I wish that we were more confident that we're definitely a miler. But yeah, I feel really good about that one. That was the more comfortable of my selections, was to run Tidal Force at a mile. I think then Princess at a mile 4. And the real sort of duo that I'm more uncertain on are going to be Much Demure and Demolition Damager. Mile 1, mile 2. So here is Much Demure. Hong Kong Classic Cup before we head to the World Cup Trio. Yeah, Frankie Howard's a nice horse. Grade 3, Grade 2 from America. Bunch of domestics that don't look like much. We are going to be favorites. We're going to be tipped. We look okay. Frankie Howard could look fitter, which is really nice. again, this early season might just play into our hands because other horses aren't fully fit. Doesn't make me any less nervous, but I do believe in the horse. I think the horse is good. I think the distance is right. I don't know if the quality is up at the World Cup level, but we will very quickly find that out. And one last chance of evaluation before locking in for those races here. At Sha Tin is the Hong Kong Classic Cup, Class 1, Grade 1. The 3-year-olds and above on the turf in Hong Kong, over 1 mile, 1 furlong. The evens favourite ridden by Florent Geroux, again, much demure race, 2 of 3 today here. This time, we're on the inside, against the rail. Got out okay and are going towards the front. Pioneering Mean, starting well, dropping back. Muqtadim Baldwin, Spry Sacco, and then Amri Surreal, Halo Current, Calibra after Galimati, Secrets, Gleam, Finesse, Serafina Silence, and Silusa Mirasol in the mix. I'm trying to see where Frankie is on the outside here. Okay, pink arms, red cap. We're under a final furlong. I was waiting for Frankie to come up. They are coming. I keep wanting to say that they're not even going to get close, but they are getting close. And that kind of, my breath kind of caught on that one. That was a tough one. I know Frankie Howe was a good horse. I know they weren't fit. I'm trying to balance that in my mind and figure out kind of where everything lines up on that. Because, yeah, a little over a length over a good horse. That might not have been on distance. Might well be one of the competitors for the Pegasus, Saudi, and Dubai World Cups. Could play spoiler in the third leg because they're probably more of a mile 2 than a mile 1, and we're a mile 1, not a mile 2. So, yeah, they just weren't fully fit. I'm not sure how much that would affect things. 132, we do stick. Again, I really like the extra speed. I really like the potential. I wish there was a touch more of both. I don't think all my hesitancy is gone. I don't think all the questions have been answered. I don't feel like my confidence is at an all-time high. I do believe in the horse. I think we're going to run them and see how it plays out, but I think we're going to run them, and I think we do have a shot. So I had to cough there for a second, but yeah, Head Pecan is in this. You don't love to see that. That's very up and down. It really is. Labori, grade 1 from Japan. Jacaro, a grade 1 from Canada. They're both also fantastic horses. Yeah, an Australian horse and a bunch of domestics that shouldn't really be any threat. But we've got 3 really nice horses that could be very, very dangerous. I do like our horse a lot. I do like our horse. I think we're in around Flamingo Labori's level. I wouldn't separate us by much. I'd put us above it by a short margin. Head Pecan is kind of an all or nothing. So when it's all, I think it's better than Demolition Damager. Because I don't think there's that much or anyone in game that kind of touches Head Pecan when everything's working out right for them. If that's not the case, they might not be anywhere close. So perfect scenario for them. They end up winning. Anything else, they kind of fall off. So I don't feel too bad. Jacado is a 134 rating that just wins. That's actually the horse I'm most afraid of. We're coming down in distance, which is fine. I think they're a mile 3-ish horse. The only reason I'm not watching them is because they're a gelding. They will be at the Pegasus World Cup. I don't know what I expect, like, these horses to miss out on races like that, but yeah. Het Bekan, Flamingo Labori. Like, nobody's going in on Jacaro here, probably because they're coming down in distance. Flamingo carrying condition, I'm pretty sure we can beat them. Bekan's moving well. Jacaro's parading well. I would not be surprised to see Jacaro 1, Pecan 2, us 3, Labori 4, if I'm honest. I'm not that far away from the betting. I just think Jacaro's a better horse than they've been given credit for. Hope I'm wrong. That gives us a much better chance to win here then for the City Hong Kong Gold Cup. Class 1 Grade 1 race for 3-year-olds and above upon the Sha Tin turf here in Hong Kong. A mile 2, the third of our 3 races today. Grand Giroux is brought to home, but for a change is not running the favourite. As I say, Jacaro Vintage and Het Bekan, 2 dangerous horses from Canada, will run. Flamingo Labori, also a very nice horse over from Japan in the Black Silks. We get out to a little bit of a late start, but we do throw ourselves forward and out towards the lead. Flamingo passes us as we drift back. Het Bekan 1, Jacaro 2, Flamingo Labori 3. Don't love that. Duchov Silva, then Samson Beefer, Toucan Rayford, Masama Moran. Back the head regarded. We're just coming up on the inside of them. And Graphics Bomb off camera right now. We're going to have to come out. We're going to have to run a wide bend. We are doing that. We are moving into position. And we are going to get ready now. We are going to kick on. Samson is also going to come. But who else is there? Toucan, Jacaro, Labori, Pecan. Nobody is really making a huge move. Now we kick on. I really thought we were going backwards, maybe staying backwards. Duchov Silva is there. And I don't know what happened to these horses. Pecan, the all or nothing. We kind of saw the nothing. The rest? I don't know. I don't know. We don't really know these horses. Duchov came over. Hasn't done a ton. May not be a great horse. Maybe just had the run of its lifetime. That's possible. That's 100% possible. It's probably as good as it's ever run at a mile 2 looking at it. So, who knows? They'll be in the Bone Crusher, so we will see them again very soon. Samson Beefer, we didn't expect anything out. Low rating, hasn't won anything, hasn't really done much. Got close at the tail end of last year. It's got close at the start of this year. Maybe coming into their prime. Same here, where they haven't done anything. They're so lightly raced as well. Hasn't done anything. And then we come down to Jacaro, who just... I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Jacaro for sure. Labori a little disappointed, but I didn't expect them to thrive. Pecan, we just, like I say, we got the bust rather than the boom. Doesn't take away anything from the horse. But either everybody here ran really poorly, or we've actually got some very good domestic horses and Dukov as well, which then means demolition damage is that much better. I don't know. We didn't gain rating. We do look good. We don't look great. It's a very difficult one to judge. And I hate my brain being this way because we've just locked up 2 maidens at the first time of asking and 3 grade 1s to open up our season at a mile 1, and a mile 2 for our 4-year-olds. And I'm not happy. I'm not ecstatic. I'm not like I'm very analytical right now, and I understand that. Yeah, much demure. I think there's still a couple of question marks. Demolition Damager did everything as I wanted in a field I thought was good. But just looking at results, you would never guess that those horses are as good as they are or can be. And it's kind of trying to figure out, have I got the right horses in the right races? I think that's more than anything. Have I got the right horse at a mile 1, especially for the World Cups? And should I be splitting mile 1 and mile 2, or should I be running them with one horse? I think I'm fairly committed to this right now. I'm not ultimately, as I say, convinced. Oh, staple virus. You son of a gun. Okay. If you don't know what the stable virus is, usually it like negatively affects your runners. Like a week before the World Cup, we get hit with the stable virus. It's not even as if like one horse has it, just the stable in general has it, and it can affect every horse. So, like the worst possible timing for that. Even much more just picking up a rough injury and being out for like 6 months or the entire year wouldn't be as bad as this, because I would just pivot and run Tidal Force or Demolition Damager with jockey instructions. So now we know it's going to be a good field for the World Cups. It's always going to be tough. We know Much Demure isn't a great horse, but could kind of rise to that level this season with good enough performances and has a realistic shot at a 140, especially if they did well at the Trio of World Cups. And then going into it, we get hit with a stable virus. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And I can't do anything about it. I just can't do anything about it. Oh my god. Yeah, what an interesting start to the season. What an interesting start. I I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I can't do anything about it. Either I run or I don't run. If I don't run, I got no choice and no chance of winning, and we limit that chance of getting to 140. So we got to run it knowing that we might just be getting screwed. Yeah, okay. That's not as bad a field as I thought it was going to be. I will say that. Laura's a solid horse, but isn't a grade 1. Great form on it, though. Didn't expect to see more Sweets Glass. I know it's a good horse. Don't think it's a great horse, but I didn't want to see it. Mekong Dinkum, didn't want to see that horse either. Both of them haven't got outstanding form, but they're really good horses. I do think we're better than them. Irie Breen, another good horse that's not a grade 1. I do think we're better than them. Pastures, another grade 2 with solid form. Maruba Syntax, a little worried. A little worried. That's not as bad a field as I thought. If we can get away with this one, we've got a month to the Saudi World Cup. Stable virus might disappear by then. Good result here. Get the win. Win by a couple of lengths. Maybe improve to a 134. Stable virus goes away. We're back on track. Maybe. Maybe not. Just, maybe. Much Demure is favoured. Mr. Laura. Mekong Dinkum. And More Sweets Glass. So, everyone's kind of okay. Apart from one, which I'm just not worried about. Pastures carrying a little condition. That's about it. Of anyone I expect to be a top 5 contender, that's it. Claire Follow sweating badly, but should be a back runner anyway. Yeah. Okay. As it's meant to be, like a real proving time now and a big opportunity here at Gulfstream for Much Demure. 1 mile, 1 furlong, Pegasus World Cup, Class 1, Grade 1 for 4-year-olds and older upon the dirt track. It's a decent field with a couple of really nice horses. We are running that stable virus. We've won all 5 races to date. This will be a real nice one to make it 6 out of 6. We're out of the gates okay. Camera side, moving towards the front, coalesce down towards the rail. Claire Follow, Novelli and Olav are there. Back to More Sweets Glass and Maraba Syntax is also there. Solid horses. Mystera Laura, Mekong Dinkum, Irie Breen, Village Shenanigans, Bondi Royal, Better Be Yes, and Better Be Yes Chic, and Calusa Pastures. Syntax did go towards the front, and then it looked like we were kicking on, and then we just didn't kick on. And I've got to assume that right there was a stable virus, and that's just screwed my triple header for the World Cups. The only upside here is Irie Breen wins their first Grade 1, and wow, what a Grade 1. We started making a move at about 1.5, and it looks like we might have been blocked off slightly, but it looked like when the horse wanted to go, the tank was empty. And that is the stable virus. So I wonder if we were blocked off or not. Yeah, not much room. So we were blocked off, plus a stable virus. And that killed us at the end. I think if we'd have gone when we wanted to go, and we weren't affected by the virus, I honestly do think that we're in the mix with the top 3. Good chance at winning. Kind of like a pink triangle. Like you get no warning, it just hits, and then everything's screwed. I feel really bad about it because I do think it's a race that we could have won. We've just dropped 3 rating points because of that result, on the back of it just being realistically from the stable virus. 4 points up for Irie Breen, their first grade 1 win. Yeah. It just looks like I put a horse that's nowhere near that quality in that race. I promise you that's not the case. If you've never had or seen the stable virus before, it really is that brutal. It really is that brutal. Absolutely hate it. Okay, so mini crisis in real life over as well. Yeah, I'm very disappointed with that run. Um, it's brutal. It really is brutal. So I'm not even sure when breeding is up. I guess the very next day. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna affect things now. It's gonna affect things. Oh, it's gone. Oh my god. It's literally. Oh, it was literally just there for the Pegasus World Cup. Are you kidding me? Oh. Okay, well, we only got it for 2 weeks, which is like by far the best case scenario. Having it at all is bad. Yeah, now it's going to be tough to rescue that season. How much is confidence and enthusiasm going to play in? Hopefully not a ton. Consistency 2. Like, yeah, the one with the biggest impact would be confidence because we just lost and lost badly. But luckily that bar's quite high. We might be okay. We're gonna wait a month to have to find that one out for the second leg. Um, but yeah, just not what we wanted at all. Okay, we're all right then for this grade 2, and then we get a pink triangle. Oh my god! I thought just in time for our 2-year-old. Stable virus goes away. We're okay. We can at least run. Overwhelming favorite. Sweating badly. It's not even just like warm and everything. We're just sweating badly. I don't know the horse, but David Cabrera's running or riding something in this. Um, and I really like that jockey too. So pretty much the number 1 and number 3 jockeys in the game in this race. Just ours is number 1, but is riding a horse that is very wound up. Here comes Upper Vine. Are they going to be a problem? Ooh, too close, too close. So sweating badly still takes it. Grade 2 for 2-year-olds. I didn't love that race. Bundle of nerves of the pink triangle. Cabrera comes in 3rd. I don't know what that would have been if we didn't have the pink triangle. I'm trying to think, maybe 3.5 to 4 length win. I'd feel really good about that. That is where we could be. 81 ratings a little low. I would have expected high 80s, 87-ish. but that potential's pretty much filled out. Yeah, so a good run, a good win, not perfect. And on the back of the stable virus, seeing a pink triangle kind of broke me a little bit there. So I don't want to deal with that moving forward. I don't want to deal with that moving forward. Let that be the end of everything crazy. I don't know what I went into today's racing. I don't know why I did. I'm flustered. I am flustered. First run coming up for Promise Princess. I was also thinking that like maybe all the bad stuff's gone, and then it's the first run for Promise Princess, and now we're getting hit. Tyler Force, 2 weeks. It's gonna be so tight. We're probably not gonna be fit for the Diva. I'm okay giving that one up if I have to. I'm okay giving that one up. Ellerslie, New Zealand. Yeah. Demolition Damager in the Bone Crusher. I feel like we got a shot. I don't know if we should expect to win, but I think we got a shot. 2 mile Promise Princess, the first run. I think we can get 2 miles. I don't know for sure. Even if we get it here, we might not get it at the tennis show. That's kind of my thinking. Banquet's a decent horse. For sure. Wolfhound Kicker, we don't know. Konokova Dazzling, I think we've seen run twice, but I can't remember anything about them. And a bunch of ungraded domestics. It really does feel, again, like a horse above its competition level right now. We should win. Banquet's the horse that I recognize and I think might cause more of an issue than anything else. So the Barfoot and Thompson Auckland Cup, Class 1 Grade 1 2-mile race for 3-year-olds and older upon the turf of Ellerslie in New Zealand. Big field, lots of unknowns, late out the gate. Not the best start for Promise Princess, but we know this horse has quality. We know it has speed. We know it has stamina. Out to the back and on the outside, Someone's Icicle, Sway Murin, Wolfhound Kicker back in this pack as well with D-Lady Escape, Mickey Safe up to Numantia Banquet. The number 10 horse just inside us now in this group with Flote Party and Tunza Toa as well. Solid all-round avian traceability. Also starting to make little moves up. Wolfhound making moves. Tunza is gone. We are still at the back. We have moved inside. We are going to be short of room. We're trying to find a way through. Corner cover, Dazzling starting to get caught a little at the front. We get blocked off again and have to step outside. There's a lot of movement at the back from Promise Princess. I pressed the wrong button. Dazzling's going to hold on to take this. D-Lady Escape Aid is the second place horse. We're third. We ran on at 2 miles. Don't tell me stuff like that. I don't want to know. Poor run. We got blocked off, I would say, at least twice. Will be better over a shorter trip. Okay. Okay, so mile 6 to 7. I did it again. Damager comes third in the Bone Crusher. Headed out. Not far behind Mekong Dinkum. Sure. A lot has happened, okay? A lot has happened. We just went from a stable virus, which cost us a shot, if not the win, at the Pegasus World Cup. We followed that up by immediately clearing it, and then a grade 2 for our 2-year-old having that pink triangle out of nowhere. And I'm kind of dealing with that, and I'm still, trying to be positive. And we win, and it's great, but then it's tough to analyze that race because of that. And then, also off the back of Demolition Damager and Much Demure winning their first 2 races, when it's very tough to analyze those runs for me as well. So those going into the situation with the stable virus, then the pink triangle, then coming out of it thinking, okay, we're set. No, let's funny business out of the way. We're a month into this season. That's enough for a whole season of craziness right there. Let's move past that. Let's get on to racing. Realize that the only one that hadn't run yet is Promise Princess, and kind of started thinking about that. Jump forward a day. Tidal Force is out for 2 weeks. And then that race just throws me for a loop, and then we skip, so we don't even see Damager come in 3rd place either. Suffice to say, heads in the shed. Oh boy. I've never had like a 2-week period like that in a game before. Everything was going so well. 5 races, 5 wins, both maidens. Everyone apart from Promise Princess, as a 4-year-old, winning their opening grade 1 and looking varying degrees of good doing it. And then that just sequence hitting. And now we're left with Much Demure under 130. All our 4-year-olds 127, 128, 129 rated. Big ask now for them to get up to the 140 range. And there's all question marks about that quality and distance that I thought maybe I'd figured out. All the doubt starts to come in at this point. So, yeah, let me know how you see it. I still think I'm right. Tidal Force at 1. Much Demure at a mile 1. Demolition Damager at a mile 2. Possibly reaching to a mile 3. Actually, we're running Tidal Force at a mile. Much Demure at a mile 1. Demolition Damager at a mile 2. Promise Princess at a mile 4. With a trip at mile 7 and 2 at 2 miles. The way I see the horses, in terms of distance, Tidal Force and Much Demure are a mile to a mile 1. Demolition Damager is a mile 2 to a mile 3. Promise Princess is a mile 5 to a mile 7. Maybe a mile 6, but probably a mile 5 to mile 7. So let me know if you agree with that or not. How do you see these horses based on the runs last year, this year, little bits? Stable virus weigh in. How much did that affect Much Demure? From your experiences, would you expect us to make those 4 lengths back? Being slightly hampered and having that virus hit us and sapping that energy. How good was Life Quest? Like, the rating's really low, but we won when we were sweating badly and agitated, and we won fairly comfortably in a grade 2. Like, that doesn't seem like nothing really seems normal. Hara's run 1 race, a maiden, and won. Tidal Force has won its only race. Might have to pull out of this next one. But, like, that's about as normal as it's been. Everything else is all over the place. And I'm trying to evaluate it. So, input, greatly appreciated, as always. as always. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I know some of you do enjoy my brain breaking and just the craziness that happens. And if we knew what would happen, there's no point in playing or running the races, right? So I'm on board for it, but I don't like things not making sense. So I really need to figure out a way for me to properly analyze this and kind of have it making sense to me. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. I still think we're on for a big season. I'm not sure the 140 is realistically there anymore, even this early into the season. But we do technically have 4 shots at it, with each of them having big enough races to get there. But I do feel we need to be nigh on perfect between now and the end of the season to get there. And that's not so much about gaining the points to get to 140, but not losing races along the way that drop you more points than you typically win per race. Because you might leap 3 points in like a 6-race period, but you lose one race and you could drop 3 or 4 points just in that race. So it's sometimes about not losing the points rather than what you're winning. So yeah, technically we're in with all 4 horses with a shot at the 140. Realistically, I expect the best of them to probably be 136, 137 at the end of it. But weigh in on that as well. Would love to hear your predictions and your feedback on that. And yeah, I appreciate you being on the journey with me. As I say, this is new. Not new. This is version 1 of our own Start It mod schedule that we created. The updated one is available for download. You can check out the videos on that on the tips, tricks, cheats, and tutorials playlist. So go ahead with that. There is updated things from what we're playing here, like the Triple Crown not being 3-year-old and up, but being for 3-year-olds only, in line with all the other Triple Crown races. So New Zealand isn't out on its own for that. And a couple of the races as well, I think, that should have been 3-year-old or 4-year-old only, have now been made that because they were 3-year-old up or 4-year-old up. So minor changes, but yeah, a very good schedule, very tough, and it's definitely making us work for it. But that is available, so go check that out on that. Check out the other playlists available as well as the memberships. Like, comment, subscribe for the algorithm and to boost the channel. We're closing in on the 1,000 subscriber mark, big mark on YouTube, so please do subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, lots of confusion right now, but I'm sure we'll work through it and have a fun season. Even though we've only got one horse lined up for a Triple Crown this year, which is Tidal Force, because on this version, the New Zealand Triple Crown is 3-year-old and older. So Tidal Force can run it. But yeah, till next time, I'll see you soon. Take care, stay safe, all the very best to you. And yeah, and any feedback would be great, because right now, just confused. Just confused and worried. Hope we'll figure it out. Hope you'll be there to see it. So I'll see you soon.